Wednesday, which for you guys, I believe, is a synchronous day. Okay. No, it's not. Because this is a B week, right? Yeah, this is a B week. You guys are asynchronous on Wednesday, which means that you guys will take the quiz kind of on your own, but during second period. Okay, so I'll have to have you guys pop into second period that day to start. Okay. All right. Oh, he says he forgot he had second period. I sometimes forget too. Okay, we ready? I hit the record button. We're going. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take care of the limit process problem in another way, which I'll talk about at the end. Okay, I put it out there already, but I'll talk about that at the very end. So, let me turn off the music. Alexa, shut music off. There we go. I'm just used to it being in the background, apparently. All right, so we're going to start with this question number 1. Which of the following limits is equal to the integral from 4 to 10 of x to the 5th dx? If you guys do have a second device, and on that second device you have the ability to write on the screen, like you have a decent stylus and it actually writes on the screen. You can use OneNote, you can use Cami if you just have a Chromebook, but it writes on the screen. I am okay with that. And if you want to do your homework that way, 100% go for it. Okay, just save it as a PDF file and we're good to go. Okay. It's like having a whiteboard kind of. I love having the digital, being able to write on it. So, all right, I'm going to flip this and we're going to talk about this problem. So, because I know that I had a couple in 4th period that were playing with it. So, go for it. 100% encourage it. Which of the following limits is equal to the integral from 4 to 10 x to the 5th dx? So this is one of the things we were working on last week. We've learned that this funky notation is really the same thing as an integral, okay? But we just have to translate between the two. So this is how this will appear on this limit process stuff will possibly appear on the AP test. If you understand it, this is a super easy problem. Okay, so you want the super easy problem. Okay, if I'm looking at this, it looks like there's pretty much no difference in the answers except kind of right in here and right in there. So I have to figure out what goes in those. Big hint, they should match, right? So this term here and this term here should be the same thing because I have to take this term and multiply it by I, right? So these guys don't match in this one. And these guys don't match in that one. So it has to be either B or C. To figure out what goes in the numerator, remember I take these values and I subtract them. So 10 and then you divide it by n. So I would get 6 over n. So it's got to be answer choice B. So the fact that we had to go through those icky lessons, if that's as easy as the problem is going to be on the AP test, we might as well take it. But if I hadn't gone through the process with you, we might not have understood it. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at example or number 2 here. Okay? So, given the graph of f above, evaluate each of the following geometric formulas. So I can notice I got 4 problems out of this one little graph. Okay? Yeah, Nate, we took a quiz and it's over and you can't make it up. Like the minute and a half you weren't in class. I'm being sarcastic. There was no quiz. We're reviewing for our quiz on Wednesday. Okay. So we'll take our quiz Wednesday, not today. Okay. All right. So this is the quiz review. I did post it. It was a quick quiz. They're just brilliant. They're really fast. So they didn't need a lot of time to take the quiz. All right. So when the graph of f should above evaluate the following. So we have to go from 0 to 5. All right. So help me out in the chat. What kind of shape are we seeing there from 0 to 5? we've got a trapezoid, okay? Or look at what Casey said. We could do this a little differently, couldn't we? So I could, if I didn't remember my trapezoid formula, which I should know, couldn't I split it into one triangle, two triangles, and a square? I could do that. Triangle, triangle, square. That's also good. And Nate just got that in there. I'm going to go with trapezoid because we know that formula. I know you know that formula, so I'm going to go with the trapezoid formula. Okay, so we know that we have to do 1/2 or divide by 2 with the trapezoid. I'm not going to do the 1/2. Divide by 2. We have to add the bases to, oh, what happened? That's eraser. All right, we have to add the bases together. So that's one base and that's another base. So one of my bases is 2. The other one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the height is 1, 2. So these two cancel, and I'm just left with 7 would be the area. Okay, I'm going to look at the next one. So it says I have to go from -5 to 5 this time. So -5 is right here. That was terrible. That's not what I meant. I meant to go from -4 to 5. So let's retype that. It's -4 to 5. So I meant to go from here. So we're going to go from here to here. So now we have a semicircle and a trapezoid. All right, if I hadn't already calculated the area of this trapezoid, I would do it now, but I've already got it, so I know that my trapezoid area is 7, okay? To get my semicircle, I would do pi times the radius squared divided by 2. The radius of this circle looks like it is 2. So I know that I have 4 pi over 2 plus 7, or 2 pi plus 7 for that part. Okay, now it wants me to go from -8, so 5, 6, 7, 8 is all the way there, all the way to 5. All right, so it looks like I've got a triangle, a semicircle, and a trapezoid. Well, we already did the semicircle and the trapezoid, so I know I've already got 2 pi 7. I just need to add in the area of that triangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for the base, 1, 2 for the height, and then starts with the t divided by 2. So we've got 4 plus 2 pi plus 7, or 2 pi plus 11, am I right? Double check my arithmetic. All right. I purposely did the next one because there's going to be times that they might not give you all of the shape. In those 3, I gave you all of the shape. So this time it says that we're going from -1, which would be, oh, I didn't mean -1. I really did not read this very clearly when I was, okay, so I meant this should have been -2, not -1. So fix that. Apparently I'm going to go fix the typos maybe before 4th period. All right, so we're going to go from -2 all the way to 3. So that I did on purpose. So notice how I cut the shape. So we're not doing a whole shape that we had before. So this time I only have a quarter circle. So I have to do pi r squared, which is still 2, divided by 4 this time. Plus, I technically still have a trapezoid, it's just my bases are going to be different lengths this time. So still doing trapezoid, a base of 2, a base of 1, 2, 3, and then my height is still 2. So let's see, 2 squared is 4, so that just goes away. So I've got pi, the 2's go away, plus 5. We okay on that part? Can we handle that piece? Anna's giving me a thumbs up. Awesome. All right. Let's look at the next piece. Okay. So the next 2 questions very AP-like. Okay. It says it wants us to approximate the area of the shaded region using an upper sum with 4 rectangles of equal width. Okay. So it says upper sum. That means we want it to be above. Okay, we want it to be an overestimate in what we had kind of learned in our world last year. So, and it wants me to do 4 rectangles of equal width. So it looks like I have I'm going from 1 to 3. So it looks, and notice it's scaled by 2. So that means I'm coming above, it's going to be like this. Is one of my rectangles. This one would probably be another one above like that. And then above like that. And above like that would be my 4 rectangles. And then I'm just going to do the base and the height of each one of those rectangles. Remember, these only count as a base of 1, okay, because it was scaled by 2s. So I know each one of them is 1 times something, which I really don't need to write out, do I? All right, so this first one, and it is scaled in 2s, is 2, oh, it looks like 3.5, right? About. We could probably go down to 3. How's that sound? No, that's not above though. We're going to go with 3.5. So 3.5. All right, the next one looks like it is up at 4. And then the last one looks like it's pretty solidly up at 5. So basically I'm adding those numbers together, right? So let's see, 7 plus 9, which would be 16. All right, this one, it was really hard to phrase without multiple choice answers there and without the multiple choice question, but I'm doing the best I can because I didn't want to completely give away the multiple choice question, okay? But I just told you, probably going to be multiple choice, right? So if f is positive, continuous increasing, and concave down. All right, so I'm going to draw something that is positive, continuous, increasing, and concave down. There we go. Okay. If L sub n, T sub n, and R sub n are the left trapezoidal and right sums for n subintervals, write an inequality representing which area is the least and which is the greatest. Okay. So we know that one of them is going to give an overestimate, we know one of them is going to give an underestimate, and one of them is going to be stuck in the middle. Which one is probably going to be stuck in the middle? The left, the right, or the trapezoid? Tell me in the chat. I'm kind of waiting for everybody to answer. I want to know everybody's opinion. All right, good job. It's the trapezoid, right? Because the trapezoid is just, it hugs it right underneath, right? The trapezoid is going to do this thing to it. So it's not going to be over, it's not going to be under, it's going to be kind of right there. So I know that my middle area that's going to be an S is going to be the trapezoid. If you were given a choice of midpoint, midpoint would also be something that would be squished in between, in the middle, okay? But they didn't give us midpoint, they gave us trapezoid. It'd be hard to tell between trapezoid and midpoint, which one would be bigger, okay? All right, so looking at this picture that they gave us, if I'm coming at this from the left, meaning I have left endpoints, I'm drawing a picture of my left endpoints, okay? So left endpoints, is that going to be bigger than the trapezoid or smaller than the trapezoid? Tell me in the chat. Okay, good, we've got it. So it's got, so that means my left should be the smaller one, okay? Which would mean then that the right one has to be the bigger one. So if I draw my right, and you guys probably thought I was crazy in that lesson last year about how I had to make you draw all these rectangles. This is why, because it helps us think through this kind of stuff. So again, the question looks super crazy, but it really wasn't that bad if we just think about it just a little bit, okay? be very careful because it's a different, slightly different question when it comes time for the quiz. Okay? All right. So number 5, selected values of f of x are given in the table below. The right Riemann sum associated with the function is 25. What is the value of k? All right, very good AP question, okay? They gave us the sum, right? I have to figure out the k, so I'm going to have to do the algebra to back up my k there. So I know if I'm coming at it from the right, and it looks like I've got 1, 2, 3 subintervals, right? So I'm going to set up for 3. I know when I get my answer, it's going to be equal to 25 because they told us that here. I'm coming at it at the right side. So my first distance in between is going to be 5. I did too many plus signs. There we go. My first distance in between is going to be 5, and my height is going to be 3. My next distance in between looks like it's 1, and my height is going to be 5. My next distance in between is going to be 3, and my height is going to be k. Again, the setup looks way worse than it really is. Okay. All right, now it's an algebra 1 problem, isn't it? It's probably even pre-algebra. This isn't even algebra 1, considered algebra 1 anymore. Let's see, 15 plus 5 is 20, right? So 3k equals 5. Something went wrong with my arithmetic somewhere. It should probably not be 5/3, but 15, it's probably in my setup, not in our actual arithmetic. So we're going to go with 5/3. Hopefully the one on the quiz will be not Mrs. Ballard calculating because I borrowed it from someone else. That's what happens when I try to make up problems fast. All right, we got one more here that we're going to work on. So this last one, it basically runs you through all 4 different of the Riemann sums, okay? But you got to be careful in your table. So given the following table, find each of the following approximations using the given method on the provided interval with the given number of rectangles or trapezoids, which they're calling n, okay? So I've got to do a right rectangles from 6 to 13. Okay, and it says I need 5 subintervals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I'm setting up for 5. And I'm coming at it from the right side. So my first distance in between is 1, and my height is 2. My second distance in between is 2, and my height is 8. My next distance in between is 2, and my height is 3. My next I don't have enough plus signs, do I? I needed 5. Ooh. Okay. My next distance in between is 1, and my height is 6. And my final distance in between is still 1, and my height is 1. All right, so let's see, I've got 1 plus 6 plus 6 plus 16 plus 2. So let's see, we have, is it 19 plus 12, right? Which would be, is that 31? Make sure I'm right. Because I try to do that in my head. You're making sure I'm right. I'm going to erase my chart. All right, Nate says I'm good. Thank you. I like how you type thumbs up when there's a little, oh, your emojis are gone again. I was just commenting on that. All right, mine are there. And we know Anna's were there because she gave me a thumbs up. But that's good. Awesome. I don't know what's going on. I have decided I am not a huge fan yet of the Google Meet tile view because I can't get more than 24 people. So even though it drags to 49 when I'm in present mode, I can't see more than 29 of you, or 24 of you guys. In this class, it's not a problem, but my other classes, that's a problem. All right, the grid view fix thing was better because I could see everybody. All right, left rectangles from 6 to 14. So I'm going from 6 to 14. Ooh, but check it out. They're trying to be tricky. N is only equal to 3. So here's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's purposely tricky. So we're only going to set up for 2 rectangles. I'm coming at it from the left. So my first distance in between is 2, and my height is 4. My next distance in between looks like 4, and my height is 6. My final distance in between is 2, and my height is 8. So I'm seeing 8 plus 24 plus 16. So let's see, that's 38, is that right? Double check my arithmetic. It should be, one of them should be, well, it's either bigger or smaller. All right, well, you're checking. I'm going to erase again. 48, 48. Oh, 48. Apparently, I can't add this morning. 20. Yes, it should be 48. Thank you. See, that's why you guys, I'm glad you're checking me. Okay, midpoint rectangles. It says I'm going all the way from 0 to 20 so this time. So 0 to 20. Notice I'm doing n equal to 5. So I'm going to count off my 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so my first distance in between is 6. The height is going to be the one in the middle because we're doing midpoint, so 2. My next distance in between is 2. My height is 1. My next distance in between is 4. My height is 3. My next distance in between looks like 2. My height is 2. My final distance in between is 6, and my height is 1. All right, let's see how my arithmetic is this time. So I've got 12 plus 2 plus 12 plus 4 plus 6. So 24, 26, 36. Did I do it right this time? Or am I off by 10 again? Double check me. Pet Nate says thumbs up again. All right, final one for the quiz review. And then we got to talk about my expectations on the limit process problem. So trapezoids between 3 and 10, n equals 4. So between 3 and 10, ooh, don't slide that way. Between 3 and 10, and I have 4 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to set up for 4 trapezoids. Okay, so I know it starts with the t, I divide it by 2. I'm setting up for 2 bases and a height. Okay, so my first round here. Round 1 says distance in between is 3, and I'm going to use a height of 2 and 4, or a base of 2 and 4. So 2 and 4 and 3 for the height. Is that right? Yep. Okay, next one says I'm going to use the distance in between of 1 and a height of 4 and 1. So 4, 1, 1. Okay. Next one says distance in between is 1, height of 1 and 6. Okay, last one, distance in between is 2, height of 6 and 3. Okay, let's see how bad my arithmetic is this time. So let's see, I'm seeing 6 times 3 would be 18 over 2. 5 times 1 is 5 halves. 7 times 1 would be 7 halves. 9 times 2 would be 18 halves. So 18 halves plus 18 halves, wouldn't that be 18? 5 halves plus 7 halves is 12 halves, which is better known as 6. So let's see, 24. Did I do it right? Double check my work. We're good? Okay, awesome. All right, let's talk a little bit about what my expectation is for. So that's the timed part of the quiz. Remember, everything's going to be timed this year. We are going to do it through Otis. I'm not going to load up another lesson on top of the quiz in theory that day. But I'm also going to probably limit the quiz. I don't know what this was, 6 problems. You should be able to do the 6 problems in 30 minutes, right? Or less. Those 6 problems should not take you 30 minutes. They should take you 15, okay? But I will time it at 30. You also will need to upload your work. So you got make sure you know what you're going to write on, what you're going to scan with, how you're scanning. So just like you're doing your homework scanning, how you're going to scan it that same way, and you're going to upload it. I will probably have you upload it. We're going to run the quiz through Otis. So you're going to upload it, the document through Otis, okay? Because that's where all my quiz software is this year. I need to grab Google Classroom. So let's look at Google Classroom for a minute, and I'm going to talk about what you're working on, the other part you're working on. So remember, we don't have a test grade in yet. So it's 70% of your grade is that quiz, okay? Plus this limit process question video, okay? So I did lay out what I expect you to do. I did share a doc file with you yesterday. Everybody got a different one, okay? So, but it's very similar to the work we did in the notes last week, okay? Everybody got a different problem and a different interval, okay? You're going to complete the question. Either you can type it or by hand, and you can hold it up to the camera. So the idea is you're going to screencast yourself. Like I screencast the videos, you're going to screencast yourself doing the problem, okay? Don't skip any steps. Show me every single darn little step, okay? So that way we know we can check it. If you want me to check the work, you can. Remember, all you're doing with these problems is integrating. So I'm not going to go through the limit process when I check it. I'm going to do the integration, and I'm going to check it with the integration, okay? So you can do that too. Check it with the integration, see if you got the same answer both ways, okay? Remember, the limit process is the harder, fancier way to do the integration. After this week, we're going to go back to the old way, the other our shortcut for integration. If you want me to check it, you can come in during asynchronous. Isn't working for second period, but you guys can come in. If you ever need me during asynchronous fourth period time, you guys are welcome to pop in. Just let me know, and I can send you the link for the meeting, okay? And then you're going to screencast yourself explaining the video with the webcam on, preferably. I want to see your smiling face. That also proves to me that you're the one actually doing the screencast, okay? You can do that in a number of ways. You can have the steps typed on there, okay? And then you need to explain how you get from step 1 to step 2, step 3 to step 4. Because when I do a video, I don't just read you what's up on the screen, right? I explain how are we getting from step 1 to step 2. And then how are we getting from step 2 to, so you got to give me the reasons why. If you just read through it, that's not getting you full points, okay? So you actually need to tell me why you're going from one step to the next. So go back and watch me doing one of the problems, right? And I explain through the steps. So you have to have a similar explanation of how you got from one step to the next, okay? Ooh, that was not the button I wanted to push. I wanted to grab here. I was trying to scroll through this part. There is some information in here about how to use Screencastify, which you guys all have. It's this little triangle guy here. It might be hidden under your little puzzle piece. It's the little arrow. That's Screencastify. Everybody in the whole district has access to the premium version of that. So you can use that to screencast yourself. There are some tutorials here. You by no stretch of the imagination need to do all the tutorials. It's me, but I was talking to teachers in the video, so I'm sorry it introduces myself as Candy, not Mrs. Ballard. But I wasn't going to re-record for you. I figured you guys could handle that. There's also a rubric there that tells you how I am going to grade this. So there's really like two things I'm looking for, right? The video explanation and if the problem's correct, okay? And then we will score accordingly, all right? So this is going in as a test grade. The quiz will probably be rated a little bit higher than the test, probably more points than the test, but there's then the video, not the test. But I need this by Friday, okay, at 5 p.m. All right. So you have, if you need me during an asynchronous time, think about fourth period. Think about, I have prep fifth period. If you were off the fifth period, you let me know. I can always turn on the Meet and talk to you. Okay. All right. Are there any questions about the expectation of that for this week? And I don't know why I just moved it into the wrong week, didn't I? I somehow dropped it down. I will fix that. There, it's now fixed. Okay. All right. So the rest of the class period, so the next time I see you will be Wednesday for a quiz. Okay. And we are technically, you are asynchronous, but you're going to pop into asynchronous to start the quiz. Okay. And I'll probably say, hey, go start it. And then I'll watch you. Remember, on quiz day, I really, if possible, need you on your school device. Okay. So I can kind of watch and go guardian what's going on. Okay. And then, if you have any questions, you can yell at me. And then if I'm teaching, if I'm really not responding, pop into the Meet and yell at me in front of my second period class, okay? And then I see you guys again on Thursday. So Thursday, we will probably have a lesson, okay? A new lesson, and I will have notes out before Thursday, okay? Any questions? So there's really only one new lesson this week, all right? Other than that, make sure your homework is up to date. Okay, and you guys, I have a little bit more AB homework to go, and then I'm going to start through all the BC stuff, which shouldn't take me too long. Hopefully you guys have done a super job. All right, we need a joke of the day, right? I was going to let you go without it, and that wouldn't have been good. All right, because I forget half the time in the first thing in the morning to do the jokes of the day. So here we go. He's got a pretty good one today. His sister did teach it, give it to him though, so he didn't do his own original. But he delivers it very well.
I've got a quick joke for you today, guys, and here it is. What starts with a P, ends with an E, and a bajillion letters in between. Post office.
The post office has a bajillion letters in between. It's a pretty good one. All right. If there aren't any questions, okay, that is all I have for you today. So you can go start working on your limit process problem. You can go start working on any homework you have missing and have yet to turn in, okay? And please don't avoid the quiz or the limit process, because that's going to be 70% of your grade right now. It won't be like that by the end, but for this triad, it's kind of icky, okay? All right. If there's nothing else, you guys are welcome to go and get some work done. If not, I'll hang out for another few minutes. Okay, so can you do an after school homework thing for the Otis problems? I got 75% of it, but the other 25% confused me. It's homework 25 and 26. Were those the ones we just did last week with the, I can. Tomorrow is BC office hours after school. Do you want to use that time? Okay. Can you text me which problems they are, the specific homework number and the specific problems you're having issues with? and then I will be somewhat prepared, maybe. Okay. All right, and then just pop into the, I'll try to send out a reminder too, but pop into that meet. It's Ballard BC Calc, I think is what I usually use as the meet. Okay. All right. But yes, I will do that tomorrow. You're welcome.